Yo, so Zay, what's up? It's Zaytoven. Zay T, let's go up. On your feet, going bonkers, going bananas. Yeah, it's time to go up. It's on the floor, it's in the air, it's all in. All gas, no break. Zaytoven said that.
You suck shit.
My name is Gabriel Hamilton. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm 28 years old. Went to Pike High School, also Franklin Central High School. I am son to Content Hamilton and Clayton Hamilton.
Content Hamilton.
Content, a human named Content. I guess that's an appropriate place to start the story, isn't it? So,
You said you had a tail.
here we go. I was born youngest, of course, the youngest of which started out as 4 to now 5, to now down to 4 again. So, that's a later part of the tale, but brothers, 1 sister, 4 brothers, now 3 brothers, including me.
So it seemed like there was always a lot of energy in the house, a lot of motion in the house. How do you feel like those early years contributed to you as an artist?
I think it becomes everything when I can look back, but building up from that point is just a lot of happiness, it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of euphoria.
Yeah.
But I can't really differentiate the artist from that kid. It's just when you look back, everything's artistry, or everything's kind of, as they say, hindsight's 20/20. So I can go back and take from it, and it makes me a better artist. But the truth is, back there, bro, is just a ton of pain and a ton of happiness.
Yeah.
We're kids, man.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. What kind of music did you guys play in the house?
In the house, a lot of Prince, a lot of Gap Band. Your father's from Dayton, so you know how we do in the Midwest. A lot of Parliament. Barbecue music, probably what we would call it. You dig? So just a lot of funk, man. Just really a lot of funk. Some R&B in terms of 80s R&B, a little bit of Madonna, some Paula. You know what I'm saying? The ladies, you know what I'm saying? Anita, some Sade. So classics, man, as we would call that now. We can call classics.
Classic, man.
Yes, sir.
Listening to them on the radio. I used to make mixtapes on the radio, right? Like I would catch a certain song I liked and record it from whether it was in the middle or right past the intro. I'd make sure I got the motherfucker. And I would make these little mixtapes, and me and my sister had a karaoke machine. And we would record our own, we would be our own disc jockeys.
Yes.
And like have a whole show and interview people and have these different things. Like, what are some of your fondest memories from the Midwest that you feel like?
I'm so glad you brought that up. My father was a man after that same exact thing. Yeah. He would record the radio onto tapes. So all of his cassette tapes was just like fucking a documentation of 1975 radio all the way up to like early 2000s radio, like to Alanis Morissette, tape after tape, bro, boxes.
It's like an audio encyclopedia.
Exactly. Well fucking said. And I'm telling you, I've been everywhere. Yeah. I've taken that generational journey through audio files, and that's the artistry, I would say. And when I was a kid, I couldn't quantify it. I could only take it for granted. I can only say, this is what my parents listened to. This is what I'm used to. And it's made me, but that's to go back to the first question, it's this overwhelming, synapses overload pretty much. It's just like, I'm taking it all in. But to quantify it now I can, because I'm eloquent, but dude, before, man, it was just life, man. It was just fucking life. Whether it was good or bad, it was just life. We're kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Audio files, though. Yeah, dude, that was huge for me. The music was passed on through a longer span of generation. So even though nowadays people have the ability to tap on a Spotify, I did somewhat and am somewhat used to having that. I mean, I can go to 78 and a radio joint, or you're hearing a crackle on a reel-to-reel because bro had to pop that in, put the mic next to the reel. You see what I'm saying? So just my father had a love for music. I was given that. I can't even somewhat take credit for that, as you asked. That's lit, though. Thank you for that.
No, thank you for sharing.
My man. That's why we're fucking here. We're fucking here for that. Yes, sir. Man, the magic of film too. You can cut all this. You can cut wherever you fucking want. That's lit.
We make the conversation what it is.
Yes, sir.
We'll distill it down to, like I said, like a minute and a half of some thought-provoking, insightful shit where they introduce They get to know who Soze is, who Gabriel is, how they mesh, and what do they create when they come together. But to your point, you said there is no distinction between the child and the artist, right? They're both of the two identities that occupy one vessel.
Yes.
So, I think, and it's poignant when we get to the on your feet stuff and all that other stuff, because why does anybody care what kind of music you make if you're a shitty person?
Yes.
Or a boring person?
Yes. And as we go back, just to take us there's somewhat a temporal game that we start to play. To your point, I'll bring in Muhammad Ali to it. There's a point where the Louisville Slugger separated itself from Cassius Clay, and then the Louisville Slugger eventually became Muhammad Ali, which then claimed to be the greatest of all time. And these things, one might ask Cassius Clay, when are you going to become Muhammad Ali? When did you become Muhammad Ali? And there's just a temporal aspect that you can't, either he always was or he never even is now. He's always still Cassius, or he's always been the same man. And the titles change. These things change us, but I'm still this person, this being. But we play this temporal game where, well, when did you start doing music? And it's like, it almost becomes the aspect of when did music choose me? When did I just submit to it and say, it's been here, this is the way it is. Let's just stop fighting the wind, stop fighting the current, because this is the currency. Two Line S, gang, Two Line S, shop, currency collectors, gang. Gotta put your brand in there.
We're keeping all of that shit as like a fucking ad in there, oh god.
Oh god.
But no, you make a point, because like I watched this documentary and it was talking about how the perception of time, right? And the limitation that we have to perceive time. And the punchline of it all was that time exists in the present, past, and the future all at once. But because of our physiology and because of our limitations as beings, we can only experience time in finite little morsels.
Certainly.
Whether it's this moment, the next moment, counting on in seconds and things like that.
Certainly.
And the future, it happens as it happens, right? And the
Certainly.
past happens as memories. And then sometimes, technology has allowed us the luxury of film.
Yes.
Which is basically encapsulating our memories, right?
Certainly. Simulation. The opportunity to train without the consequence of reality. Man, these kids play Call of Duty. These kids play Fortnite. Dude, if I hook these kids up to a drone, a humanoid-style drone, and put an AR in that humanoid-style drone's hands, I would take the best gamer over a house with 8 bodies. Because these children, they have been allowed to fail over and over and over and over and over again. And I know you're there. I know you're there because I've been that guy over there, walking my dumb ass around that corner, getting slapped time after time after time after time. And I had to learn that. And all these young guys learn that. They have been allowed to, your son, and not to break the wall, but our seeds have been allowed to fail, and we were allowed to fail similarly. We were allowed to experiment similarly, and I'm blessed by our parents and the parents that we've become, because we've made a safe space, and technology has allowed a safe space for kids to get some aggression out, make friends, bro, escape a reality, get deeper understanding into their own reality. I just think these kids and we as adults have a much safer space to reach each other, access each other in much better ways through technology. It is up to us on how we use technology. I can't blame a book. I can't blame an inanimate object to certain extents, and my beliefs. So inanimate.
I get you. I'm right there, bro. Like, think about when the car was first invented or discovered, depending on how you look at history. But the car in itself was like a point of public discontent, right? They felt like the car was evil and it was killing people. Because people weren't used to a car being in the street while they're walking in the street, right? Like, imagine 1890 something, there's still horses, there's still shit like that that's walking around, and there's this thing that's going 15, 20 miles an hour, but a person can only run that fast. Plowing motherfuckers down, they think the car is the worst thing that ever was fucking created. It's evil, and people don't know how to use it. It's influencing people in the most... There's always a technology that scares people to the point to where they forget their people.
Certainly. Certain.
I didn't have control in the beginning, and this thing I created reminded me of that.
I think that's a solid piece of technology. I think that if it hasn't changed your society and it hasn't pushed the boundaries like that to cause that shock moment, you know, I think that it might not actually be pushing the society forward. Kind of to our points, if some things keep us in such a safe space where it can kind of hinder us. I'm not necessarily correlating that to our video games or our children's entertainment, but even. Maybe I am, you know, maybe our children's entertainment does keep them in a certain box because that's kind of what we like. And that's what, until the next step of evolution, let's stop complaining. This is what we got right now. This is the car. Yeah. It'll take us 20 years to get used to it, get your ass off the fucking street. You know what I'm saying? It takes time, man. It takes time. And as we get older, and I will always throw myself in there with the wolves, bro, as we get older, we just simply forget that, you know, the next piece of tech, you know, some of us are scoffing at crypto already. And it's like, dude, you got old on accident. It's here. It's here. You know, your cash hasn't been worth shit in 20 years. Catch up to technology. Be along with it. You know, do not resist the currency. 2-line S, gang. 2-line S. S, 2-line, baby. Don't resist the currency. Stay loyal. Get finesse, baby. Big bags. I'm on fire today.
So I think that's a great segue into talking about this. I don't even want to classify it as a project, but let's talk about the music that you're creating. Let's talk about the most recent music video that we got working on your feet. So let's kind of talk through the inspiration for the song. Before we get to the structure and why you chose to deliver it in that way, let's talk about how it came to be.
That's the funny part of this. That's the question you've been asking this entire time. How the fuck would I know? I don't know which pain it was, which elbow scrape, which big wheel ride it was, which fucking fight it was, which girl got stolen from me, which girl I got, which piece of pussy it wasn't, which piece of pussy it was. I don't know. I don't. I've lived this being, man, and I've taken all of that, and I walk into a room, and that room happens to have one of these. And then On Your Feet happens, and then I like it or I don't like it. There was a funny meme that I read the other day. It was, if you want to, I want to be an artist. It was like a graph, but it was an arrow, or not a graph, but a diagram. Mm-hmm. And it was arrows pointing to arrows in different diagrams. First one said, I want to be an artist. Second one said, make some art. And then it went down and said, is the art good or bad? Good or bad? You're an artist. Make some art. And then it kept repeating itself.
That's true. That's so true.
You want to spit? Spit. The great Yoda says there is no try. There is do or don't do, bro. Are you doing it or are you not doing it? If you're failing at it, you're still fucking doing it. I failed a lot, bro. I failed into that fucking song. And that is a formula. And everybody on this camera, they won't believe it because they're afraid of failure. And they don't want to fail because I didn't want to fail. I keep telling your kid, I wanted this shit when I was 20, dog. And I deserved it when I was 20. This man doesn't necessarily deserve it so much. This kid is a little impure. But that kid at 20 deserved it. And that kid at 20 worked hard. And that kid, I fucking had it, bro. I had it. I had this. But it wasn't time. And obviously, I guess I didn't have this. So, it is what it is. The temporal gain. So, I am always me. I don't always know what that variation of me is or will be. So I must admit the truth, which is I do not know. I hop in the booth and I lay my shit, bro. I lay my shit because why hinder what I don't know? A lot of people go out into the universe and they throw doubt at it when all is certain. I mean, man, give this system 20 billion more years and you tell me what could never happen. Like, we've been here for this long. And somebody 1,000 years ago was telling you what couldn't even happen. That's all false right now. That's literally all false right now. Every bit of it. Give some time. Give it some time and everything we know becomes a joke or becomes a scheme or a tale or a lore. And that's okay for me because I don't even know right now. So in 1,000 years, when I'm looking at not crypto but no currency, I'll say it made sense. Because it wanted to go back to no currency. There'll be no control. It's not important to control everything, in my opinion. Because it fades, man. It fades. Release it when I got it. If I don't have it, I choose to not be concerned about it. Greg Michael Jordan says, if you have it in your control, don't worry about it because it's under your control. If it's out of your control, don't worry about it because it's out of your control. Yes, that is Michael Jordan saying, don't worry about anything. I know, it's Mike. But why worry about it? It's out of your hands.
It seems like you put a lot of stress on being organic.
Yeah.
Actually not willing it to happen, but allowing it, right? Being a partner to the universe, being a passenger to the universe almost. And it reminds me of this quote that Prince said, to bring it all back to the Midwest, right? He said, and I may be paraphrasing, but he said,
Rest in peace, Prince.
something, exactly, rest in peace, Prince. Man, go ahead and bathe in the water of the lake when Tonka.
Where's Apollonia?
Bad. I'll take vanity for sure.
Oh, come on. The selfish man. The selfish man. He needs both. He needs both. I'm scared of that. When you make it into the game and you guys, we have wives. So it's like, as we speak on organic, I feel like there's a certain respect for organism.
Yeah.
That's the only appropriate way I could say the word, but.
Maybe respect for an organism?
Ouch. We're going to have to cut this conversation.
It's still an organism. But I want to give you this Prince quote. Go ahead.
I'm like, dude, go.
He said, nothing is ever good and nothing is ever bad. It is. I feel like that's what Mike was saying.
Yes.
Is not to complain about nothing, but to allow yourself to be tapped into your particular lane, your frequency, your vibe, whatever people call it these days. But you've tapped into yourself. And at that point, there is no judgment. At that point, there is no right or wrong. At that point, there is a clear and concise acknowledgement of the existence of a being.
Yes. Yes. Hence, what else is there other than organic? In my perspective. In my opinion. Just because, why fight it, dude? I don't choose to fight it so much. And when I was a child, I did because I was invincible. So I could see a kid jump off the jungle gym. Boom! Kid jumps up in 2 seconds, rubs it off. Panics. Goes back and does the same dumb shit 20 more times with the same fucking result, and somehow he hops up. You take a person that's 30 years old, put him on the exact same fall, he shatters his ankle or does some stupid shit.
I must be channeled into something, bro, because
Talk
I
to me.
thinking of quotes. Tupac said something that was
Talk to me.
almost on the same line as what you said. Tupac said, as a black man in America, a brown man in America, any minority in America, you have 30 years to display your dominance before society crushes it. And then he said,
Wow.
Then he went on to say, you see most revolutionaries or most vital in their mid-teens, like late teens, early 20s. You see most people are loudest or like willing to fight before 30. He said, I want you to show me how many loudmouth, aggressive, driven over 30-year-olds do you see?
Man.
And he says the way that this system is designed, you have 30 years.
Yes. Yes. And I think that, to Pac's argument, I think the argument of vitality does, in my perspective, to the argument of Pac. That's a big fucking truck, too. Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Hey,
gorgeous.
the land yacht.
My man, he out there with the sack. My dog, I'm fucking with you, G. My man. To Pac's point,
Vitality.
Yes, I think vitality is synonymous with youth, in my perspective. So I do believe that. I do think that, we're getting into it. I do think that the aspect of certain emotions is situational based. I think that within 30 years, your perspective of love should change if it is a healthy perspective of love. I do believe that your perspective of youth should change if it's a healthy perspective of youth or being young. I believe that a lot of people past 30, they do have a respect for youth, and they do have a respect for being young and being vital and all these other things. But the way that it is actuated and the way that it looks punky, it looks rebellious, it looks resistant, because the longevity of that particular, the look in which the society normally sees it, it just kind of looks strange to us. It's like this 40-year-old's trying to be, he's rocking Supreme, cool, but it's different to us because the perspective of the market and who this is normally on is a youthful person. So I do think vitality, damn near, its shelf life is 30 years, you dig? And not to disrespect Pac, but it's just aspects to where we've already spoken on it, and I have trouble sometimes even diving into the conversation of certain ideals because these ideals do change in time, and I'm even wrong as I speak on them because these are emotional things that are tailored to different styles of perspectives, and those perspectives are tailored towards different scenarios, which are tailored towards different situations, and then those have to be taken on a case-by-case basis. So I am wrong. You guys are going to be able to grill me. Don't worry. I'm going to be so wrong, and I'm going to admit it all the time, and I will misspeak.
That's where learning happens, bro.
Talk to me.
Like you've been saying, you said this a couple times. What else is there than organic, right? Like, and learning, losing, failing, whatever the case may be, is part of the organic process. Natural selection, almost in the key.
Out of eternal darkness, let there be light.
So,
single light, eternal darkness. Talk to me.
To bring this home, what are some things that you feel people should take away from the experience of you, right? Like we've talked off camera a couple times about, you being almost an entity, a vibe, a vessel, an experience, not necessarily, a person in a traditional sense, right? Especially when you're tapped in, when you're on 10. What are some things that people should take away from Soze or from Gabriel?
To bring it all home, it is what we've spoken on. It is the organic nature of it. It is how On Your Feet comes together, but doesn't have to be forced together or put together. And I hope you guys go listen to that one. You guys will go listen to that one. It's to formulate something and believe in what you formulated. I believe this entire time, brother. A lot of people can say that, but not a lot of people are telling the truth when they say that. I don't know where I'm going, but the strange feeling that you're walking these steps that you believed that you would be walking is still a strange feeling to me because it's always been a strange feeling to me. But it's always been a strange feeling because my belief is this strong, and I do believe in myself. And if I can tell anybody anything, bro, it's believe in what the fuck you're doing. And I'll prove it. I'll show you guys. I'll show everybody, bro. But man, dude, every fucking anime told you the truth. Every fucking superhero story told these motherfuckers the truth. They told you it was the measure of a man and not the powers that a man wields. They told you to believe in it. They told you the right shit. And I'm a nerd, and you can point fun, and everybody will be able to say things, but I will prove them wrong, because I already have. We gotta believe in ourselves, bro, and that is what it is. On your feet, champ. That's all, man, because I'm talking to me. I'm not talking to those guys. I gotta show those guys. Everything that I'm saying in this interview is to show me again and again and again, and so that they can fucking see it and say, hey, he might have it when I judge him. He'll give me something I like, a song that I like. He'll make, maybe On Your Feet didn't bring me to my feet. Then you get fans. Then you get people to pursue you of the mystique. All I'm really trying to fucking show people is that I got this. I can fucking do this. Leave me the fuck alone because you got this. And because you can do this. And I'm going to leave you the fuck alone.
I think that's how we end it. My man.